and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Every child deserves to feel safe, seen, heard, and loved. The Children's Center Utah helps make that possible. For more than 60 years, their expert team has provided life-changing mental health care for young children and their families. This care plays a crucial role when a child's development matters most, providing early intervention and the tools they need to thrive before a family faces significant crisis and expense, addressing crucial mental, behavioral, and emotional concerns now. Today, the Children's Center Utah is expanding, bringing hope and healing to even more communities across Utah. This outreach will ensure greater access for more Utah children and their families. You'll hear more about it in the days and weeks ahead. In the meantime, if a child in your life needs support, the Children's Center Utah is here to help. Visit childrencenterutah.org to learn, give, or get involved. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Heather Kelly, we finally seeing some relief?
Yes, the good news is it looks like all the crashes that were in Davis County have cleared, including the one that started all the horrible issues in Davis County. That was southbound I-215 near 2200 North. That has cleared. Unfortunately, you still have some pretty slow and even stop-and-go traffic on I-15 Legacy Parkway, the west side belt. That's going to take a little bit of time to clear out. Now, unfortunately, we have multiple crashes remaining in Utah and Salt Lake counties, at least 8 of them on all the major freeways, Bangerter Highway, the west side belt, I-15, the east side belt, and it's causing delays in all directions, north, south, east, and west. So just plan on an extra 15 or 20 minutes or so getting to where you need to go this morning. Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or visit carsforkids.org to donate. That's CARS with a K. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather today, sunny with highs in the upper 60s, maybe a high of 68 degrees. Tomorrow, breezy, but the heat hitting its 70s. Right now, though, it's 59 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
It is Election Day in Utah and around the country, and in just a few minutes we'll be getting into everything you need to know about that. But first, Mara Carabello, president of the Exoro Group, is joining me in studio today as Greg Skordas has the day off, and we are going to start today's show with the news of former Vice President Dick Cheney's passing this morning. He was 84 years old. So his political career spanned decades, including serving President George W. Bush as his vice president. But look, Mara, I wanted to talk to you just more about Dick Cheney, the man, and his beginnings. You have a lot of inside knowledge there.
You know, Dick Cheney and I didn't always agree on policy, but he was a dynamic force, right? Yeah. I mean, for decades. But what I love about him as a Utahn is that he was from Wyoming, a Wyomingite. I don't know what you are when you're from Wyoming. And he didn't necessarily, I love these stories of folks who had an unexpected rising and didn't plan their whole life. I relate to those folks. So he grew up in Wyoming. He wasn't, he had a couple of DUIs. He has a couple of run-ins. His dad worked for the federal government. He works his way up. He's clearly bright, but he worked his way up, and to be chosen as the vice president from Wyoming, usually part of the calculation is what big state electoral votes can you bring with you. This guy is bringing nothing
from Wyoming.
I mean, bless you, but I think they're at 2 or 3. And so to be chosen means that's how influential he was. Also remember, he was chief of staff. He started out in a minor position. He met Rumsfeld,
And that's how he got kind of hooked in. And he was in a minor position in the Ford administration. Then he works his way up and becomes Ford's chief of staff at like 34 or something.
Wow.
It was extraordinary. Then he leaves and goes away again, comes back for a second round, goes to Halliburton, and from private sector comes back, later goes on to serve as the Secretary of Defense. He goes on to be vice president and continues to be influential. He has this interesting story arc. He's a traditional conservative. A hawk is what we know him as.
Right.
He brought us into a number of wars that became rather controversial. But then he later goes on to be a pretty strident opponent of how Trump does business for the Republican Party. So while he was a dyed-in-the-wool conservative, he was a traditionalist, and he also believed America should be involved in the world networks, and such a strong opinion. His legacy is going to be pros and cons, but, there's the famous In the Arena poem, and this man, Dick Cheney, was in the arena.
Yeah, that's interesting. So he was considered by many political observers to be one of the most influential vice presidents in history. We have more from ABC's Karen Travers in Washington about that.
Dick Cheney was called the force behind President George W. Bush, a notoriously silent but powerful VP who became an outspoken defender of the Bush administration and an ardent critic of President Obama.
When they've made all the decisions they've had, close Guantanamo, end the high-value detainee program and so forth, I think those are all mistakes.
He was beloved by conservatives and vilified by the left.
So we also have, as you mentioned, he has maybe a complicated legacy. And to be honest, sometimes most of us probably do have that. But here's ABC's News Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl.
It's a complicated legacy. He will be remembered certainly for his role in protecting America after 9/11, for that big mistake that America made in the war with Iraq, and absolutely as being a patriot and a defender of American democracy until his last days.
So anyway, it's just interesting, right? Don't we all have some kind of, well, she did make a bad decision. I will say that.
Yeah, and you know what I love? It's what I long for in today's politics is that folks who are willing to make decisions and go in on opinions and not just play safe for popularity's sake. This was Dick Cheney, and again, controversial at times. He did make some mistakes in his career, but his willingness to always do what he thought was right, I think, is a through line. I also will say, it was terrific that he supported, as many of us remember, the modern history of his daughter, Lynn Cheney, who was a member of Congress, who led the investigations against Donald Trump. That was a really tumultuous time, and Dick Cheney chose to stand up and support his daughter at that time, which was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I remember, this is probably not his brightest moment either, but I remember that he had a hunting accident and somebody ended up getting shot in the face by the vice president.
I had forgotten about that. I do remember the headlines, I got shot by Vice President Cheney.
Right, right. And I think it was buckshot and it wasn't fatal, but it was still like, whoa, wow, right, because he was a big hunter being from out west. So, yeah, what do you think his daughter's legacy might be? Because I feel like she's kind of gone back and forth between I'm going to speak out against President Trump and now I'm going to support President Trump. Like, I'm not really sure where she's at right now.
Yeah, I think it's a hard time for traditional conservatives, old school Reagan conservatives, because they're trying to find their way in a world of. So what I would say of the Cheney family is that they are driven by an ideology, by an interpretation of the Constitution and their interpretation of rules of law. And there's the through line. They're trying to find their way in modern politics, which, not necessarily about ideological or policy descriptions, but rather opportunity. And I don't think that, to their credit, I would say that they're not very opportunistic, the Cheneys. They're not good at just finding the opportunity. They're good at pounding an ideology that you may or may not agree with. So we see this repeated over and over, and Dick Cheney was an archetype of someone who had a policy through line, an ideological through line. And where does that fit in modern America? That's a lot about social media, a lot about headlines, a lot about not policy, a lot about sort of flash and tribalism and branding. And I don't think Dick Cheney was made for that.
Yeah. One more quick question. What do you think made him one of the most powerful VPs in history?
You know, he part of it is credit to President Bush for allowing him that role. He knew how to wield power, and so there were some elbows thrown, and I think he was a tough broker. One of the funny comments I heard when the President Bush was in the presidency, he was asked about Halloween, what he was wearing, and he asked Dick Cheney, and he said, well, Dick Cheney's wearing it every day, and sort of making fun of how curmudgeon-y he is. and under his breath, he said he's from the dark side, was the joke the president made. Dick Cheney was a serious man who wasn't afraid to throw some punches. And he knew how to power broke, right? He knew how to build coalitions. I think that's what made him an unusual and exceptional that hasn't carried on. You know, the vice president since did not maintain his role of influence. And even after he left the White House, he remained influential. So I think it was his brain, but also he knew how to broker power.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, it's almost as good as Christmas for political nerds like us. It's Election Day. Yay. We're going to check in with the Salt Lake County Clerk and discuss the top races that Mara and I have our eye on today. So stay with us over the break.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone, and now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our Trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
Whoa. More fiber?
What?
Down here, buddy. It's me, your spoon. Constipation with belly pain still coming back?
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, but Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes in new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. So you're invited to visit the movie show Friday 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit npsstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. npsstore.com.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us. When are you going to pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason this guy's on the radio. So I called him.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer in compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
Gillette Services is putting $1,000 in your pocket with a rebate on new installations. Call 385-GET-HEAT for a free estimate. Gillette Services. Comfort now, pay later.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Rock the vote! Rock the vote! Turn out for what?
That's exactly right. Turn out for what? Turn out for Election Day. Come on.
I love Election Day. Holly, as you said, it is such a fun time for the wonks. But, you know, it's a big day for us. If you are not sure if you have a vote, or have an election this year, it is worth you checking. Polls opened at 7 a.m. They don't close until 8 p.m. You've got plenty of time, but all the biggies are here. Salt Lake City, West Valley City, Pleasant Grove, Provo, Orem, Ogden, Riverton. I could keep going.
There are a lot
of us, and local elections impact us the most. I mean, how you feel about your parks, how you feel about your streets, how you feel about your trash pickup, if you like neighborhood pickup, if you like your Christmas trees picked up, if you like your budget.
Chickens in your backyard.
Chickens in your backyard. So much of that is determined by your local elected officials.
Yeah, so we have Lanny Chapman with us, the Salt Lake County Clerk. Hi, Lanny. Thanks for joining us. Okay, we don't have Lanny. Technical difficulties. We'll have Lanny soon. But you're right. And, you know, it's interesting because we had the lieutenant governor on yesterday who's over elections, and she doesn't do the counting. That's the county clerk. But people just historically just don't show up for these what are considered, you know, off year,
we don't
midterm.
remember 'em.
It's not even midterm, really. It's
No.
municipal. Right?
Yeah, they're not hyped as much, but they do make a huge difference. The other thing is, so if you're disenfranchised, if you're like, my vote doesn't matter, well, they do vote just because of what you said, Holly.
Yeah.
Because so few of us turn out. So turnout today could be anywhere from 18% to maybe sometimes we reach into the 30s, depending.
That seems optimistic. But.
That was me being an optimist. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, so maybe some of us will get out of our car. But I like it. Really does make a huge difference. We also have some competitive races. Provo's got a hot mayor race. They have an incumbent,
They do.
a challenger who has been a representative,
Yep.
and they're neck and neck. They're duking it out. Ogden has an incumbent, but also another challenger. We have an open seat in Riverton. Trent Stagg's mayor left a little early because of a Trump appointment.
Right.
And so it's an open seat. This one's kind of fun because the wife of a senator is running, and he has said if his wife wins
He
the
won't run
mayoral
again.
race, he will not sit for senator. So, I mean, there's a lot of interesting local politics can be also a little rough. I mean,
It can be.
Yeah, it can be a little. It's each other.
Yeah.
There's some accusations. There's
Well,
been
it
some rough
becomes
races.
personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels personal. It's like, oh, you're calling my neighbor names now.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we are joined on the line with us. By Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman. Hey, thanks for joining us, Lanny.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So, what? Just tell us first about turnout or the return rate of the ballots so far. What do we know so far?
So far we're we're really on par for a municipal year. We're a little bit above 21% turnout so far, and I'm seeing a lot being dropped off in drop boxes. Well, we're not going to see numbers like we did during a presidential year. That's not common just because of the nature of the type of elections they are.
Lainey, there's been a couple of changes this year. Walk us through, if I have not mailed in my ballot, what do I need to do today?
Absolutely. So House Bill 300 has changed the laws when it comes to how to return your by-mail ballot. It is far, far, far too late to return your ballot using the post office. At this point, you have two options to successfully have your voice heard if you want to use your by-mail ballot. The first is to use any of our drop boxes. They're open until 8 p.m. tonight, or the last car that's in line at 8 p.m. has a chance to drop that yellow envelope in their drop box. Second choice is go to one of our vote centers and physically hand in your by-mail ballot. We have 19 vote centers located throughout Salt Lake County. Again, they're open till 8 p.m. They would love to help you. If you prefer to vote in person, again, we have those 19 vote centers. They are there to help you. No lines, ready for you to make sure your voice is heard in our local elections.
So we've had a little bit of a conversation, but why is it important for people to vote in their municipal elections?
Well, it's important for people to vote, generally speaking, because we're a much better community when we're represented by people that represent us. And the easiest way to make sure that that happens is to vote, to have your voice heard, to make sure that we're voting for candidates that best align with what's important to us. This year, we have municipal and service districts on the ballot. Those are things that affect us as soon as we open our door, from garbage pickup and recycling to parks to, whether or not dogs are on leash or off leash, which roads, like local roads, get paved, police, firefighter resources, and frankly, the sewer system. That's on a lot of people's ballots this year.
Yeah, I mean, all of those. I don't know that we hear the hype of the national, but we don't realize that all of our services are, So, Lainey, I love that we the clerks are who run our elections. The state sort of keeps track of it at a larger level, but you are charged as being the election host as well as the one who administers it. So where have you been able to motivate people to engage? Like, what are the best? I want the best pitch on. You've just given all of the reasons and things that our local government does. How do you get people excited about voting?
My job is to make sure that everybody who should have a ballot, has an opportunity to have their voice heard. I feel it's more the candidates' jobs to motivate people to get out. However, I'm always a cheerleader for people having their voices heard.
So if somebody doesn't have their ballot, or maybe they spilled coffee on the kitchen counter or something, can they still vote today?
Absolutely. We have those vote centers that are open until 8 p.m. tonight. It is too late to get a replacement ballot. So if you've spilled a lot of coffee on it, I would suggest going to a vote center. However, we're used to coffee and tea and pasta night when people vote. We've seen it all. So don't not vote because you have a little water damage on your ballot. Your voice is too important.
You can also register to vote. So if you're listening and you're like, wow, I'm out of the game because I haven't registered, you can same-day register in Utah. So make sure you go down to your local clerk's office and register to vote as you cast your ballot. Lainey Chapman is the Salt Lake County clerk, the largest county we have. Thanks you for your service, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Happy Election Day. Don't forget to vote.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask, did you vote?
I don't have an election.
Oh.
I don't have. I live in Salt Lake City, but I am not in a council district that has it. But I didn't.
Yeah.
In Salt Lake, if there's Salt Lakers, you guys have ranked choice voting, which I still think is good fun. It looks like it's going to be faded out in most of ours, but you get to rank who you want to vote for.
So I voted. So I get my ballot, and I do two things. One of two things. When I get my ballot, it either I vote right away, or it sits on my counter until the very last minute, and then I'm running down to the drop box at 7:45 p.m. on Election Day.
You and I have the same habits. I either am motivated and know what I'm either set, or I'm waiting for something, and it's always the very last minute. You have a hot election this year?
So we have a mayoral race, and we also have a city council race, but I also live in northern Utah County where we've got school district race.
Okay.
So I voted in one of the new school districts, but this was one that was so interesting to me because when Alpine School District, when they decided to split into 3, that means 7 people on each new school board, so 21 spots total. We had 77 candidates for those 21 spots, right? As we headed into the primary.
That is something.
It is something, right? And I think it really speaks to the interest that people have in saying, look, we're standing up 3 new districts in this area, and it really matters who we put on those. And so I think sometimes the school district races, especially in our area this year, they're even the hotter ones. Although Orem, it reaches into one of the school districts, so maybe they're
right. Orem's hot this year. They have a mayor's race. It's gotten a little intense at times in Orem. So if you live in Orem, it's a good time to be an activist there. Like I said, Ogden has some races. Provo has a close race.
Yeah, they do.
A couple of towns in northern Utah. There's one that it's the first time ever that they've just formed a new district. So if you live in North Ogden Valley, that's an exciting time to be the first of. And as we said before, these races can be won or lost by a handful.
Right.
And so your vote will really count. It'll be important.
Final results will not be for 2 weeks, but if it's not close, we might know today or tomorrow. Okay, there's also some interesting national races, and here's one for the political plot twist files. President Trump just endorsed Andrew Cuomo in the New York City mayoral race, despite their history of public clashes. We'll get into why after the break.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour, former Vice President Dick Cheney, considered by many political observers to be one of the most influential vice presidents in history, has died. His political career spanned decades, including serving President George W. Bush's vice president. More from ABC's Karen Travers in Washington.
Richard Bruce Cheney was born in 1941 in Lincoln, Nebraska. He grew up in Casper, Wyoming, and married Lynn Ann Vinson in 1964. Cheney first arrived in Washington in 1969 to work for President Nixon's chief of staff, Donald Rumsfeld, before replacing his mentor in 1975. When Jimmy Carter defeated President Ford, Cheney returned to Wyoming, ran for Congress, and served 5 terms until President George H.W. Bush asked him to serve as Secretary of Defense.
In a statement, his family says he died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. He was 84 years old. Senator John Curtis, reacting to the news, says he's grateful for the many years of service Cheney gave to this country, that he led with conviction and strength through some of America's most defining challenges. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will start giving tours of the Burley, Idaho Temple on Thursday. They'll last through the 22nd of November. It's the state's 11th temple. Dedication is scheduled for January of next year. Your money at this moment, the Dow down this morning, 157 points, to 47,178. Coming up, the traffic has started to finally thin out after a crazy, crazy morning. Traffic and weather together is next. KSL News Time, 9:31.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Hey, this is Dan the Laptop Man from PC Laptops. Myth. You might have heard that you need to spend a fortune these days to get a powerful computer. Correction. At PC Laptops, we wanted to prove that wrong. So here's the most amazing deal that we've ever done at PC Laptops for you in over 30 years. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Take one home today. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $9.99, PCLaptops.com.
Are you within 3 years of filing for Social Security? You've heard about delaying your benefits to get a bigger benefits check, right? But guess what? That could be a huge mistake. When you consider your taxes, Medicare premiums, and other benefits, you could potentially get more income by filing early. Find out the precise timing that could get you the most money possible with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't leave one dime on the table that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. That's 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Let's check in with Heather Kelly.
We've got a new crash southbound I-15 in American Fork. It's right as you're about to merge on from 5th East, and it's blocking center lanes of traffic. UHP is not on scene yet. Traffic is trying to get by on both the HOV lane and the right lanes, but once UHP does arrive on scene, they're probably going to close additional lanes. My guess would be the HOV lane. So just prepare for delays as you come through most of American Fork. And then there's still the crash at the Pleasant Grove exit. That is blocking the right lane of that exit ramp, slowing people down as they go through there. Still cleaning up a crash northbound I-15 in Springville. It's right before the 400 South exit. That's over on the left. Now, most of the other crashes have cleared in Davis and Salt Lake counties, but you still have some residual delays in a few places, especially southbound 15 from Center Street and North Salt Lake into downtown. #1 best-selling author Richard Paul Evans' new book, The Christmas Stranger, is now on sale. Critics are calling it one of his best. Get your copies of The Christmas Stranger today. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather today, sunny with highs in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, breezy, but with heat. Highs will reach the 70s, maybe 71 degrees in November. Right now, it's 64 degrees, and it's sunny in Salt Lake City. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, I'm Andy Farnsworth. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, today is Election Day, and we start it with a political plot twist. President Donald Trump has thrown his support behind Andrew Cuomo for New York mayoral race, despite decades of clashing. Yeah. As we all know, Trump was a famous New Yorker for many years. Now he's a Floridian, but for a long time. And Andrew Cuomo has been in New York politics forever. But the president is urging voters to back Cuomo, a lifelong Democrat who is now running as an independent this year, over both the Republican nominee, Curtis Sliwa, and Democratic frontrunner Mamdani, who it looks, the polls have been closing more and more. This is a fascinating race. Mamdani is a socialist, a Democratic socialist, but has been as we've been talking, he has gone back to an old school style.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Let's get a little bit more from ABC's Lionel. I think it's Moisey.
New reaction to President Trump throwing his support behind former Governor Andrew Cuomo in New York City's mayoral race. Cuomo denying it's an endorsement.
President Trump doesn't support me. He opposes Mamdani, right? He believes that Mamdani is an existential threat to New York. He believes he's a communist. He believes he'll bankrupt New York.
Frontrunner Zohran Mamdani, who describes himself as a democratic socialist, has seen his lead shrink in recent polls. Trump is threatening to cut federal funding to New York if Mamdani wins.
So it is interesting, right? I think it's interesting that Cuomo's like, he's not endorsing me.
Right.
He's just anti-endorsing the other guy.
That's right. He's running from that endorsement pretty quickly.
Yeah, he is.
Because it will be every vote counts.
Yeah.
Very different styles. One, Cuomo is very polished. Historically, he's run over and over again. And Mamdani is very grassrootsy, very show up where the people are. And it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. The other interesting thing about the New York race is that it's largely been around federal issues. One of the things I like about local elections is they tend to be very local election faced. This has been different this year in New York. It has had a lot of national politics be the topic of this New York City mayor's race.
Well, talk to us a little bit about how Cuomo ended up as an independent, because that's an interesting story too.
Yeah, I mean, Cuomo is a lifelong Democrat. He was a hero for a moment at COVID, and then that quickly crashed. He is an insider's insider, and he's also a New Yorker's insider, right? And so his journey and who he has made allies with along the way is a complicated one. So it's really like a fresh face, but also untested with someone you know. So is it the devil you know, so to speak, in political parlance? Or is it this fresh new face who is Mamdani has been driven by a lot of ideas. He's been pretty audacious in some of the things that he has presented that aren't quite usual. So New York's always interesting. New York's going to be an interesting race to watch today.
Yeah. Well, I think with Cuomo, right? He lost the primary to Mamdani, and then he didn't like that option, so changed to an independent and is running again. But as you said, he's got name recognition. He's been around for a long, long time. And you have Mamdani, which I think he is doing as a candidate what I consider retail politics, meaning he is out meeting voters where they are. I've seen him campaigning like on streets, like he was out in the middle of the night to talk to taxi drivers who work the graveyard shift, basically, right? Or going into bars where people are and saying, hey, come out and vote. So that's been really interesting to me to watch him do that type of retail politics.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are also watching California, not so much the people races there, but Prop 50. Prop 50 is the question to voters about whether they want to go through some map redistricting, which most of us believe will end up putting more seats in the Democratic category, which is a direct response to Texas and Trump sort of trying to redistrict to put more seats in the Republican category.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be close, so that's Proposition 50 if you're watching. Other two races I think are so interesting. Virginia is an interesting race. I don't think it's going to be a close race for governor. I think the Democrat will likely win that. But what's interesting about it is Northern Virginia particularly has a lot of federal employees and have a lot of people who work in Washington, D.C. So looking at turnout there, looking at how is this an interpretation of how people working in the D.C. area feel about the DOGE cuts? Is this an interpretation of how they feel about how the Trump administration has started out? I feel like we're giving too much weight to Trump nationally, to be honest, but I don't think we are in D.C. I think that in Virginia. I think the Virginia races, particularly Northern Virginia, is a call and response to the second term of the Trump administration.
Yeah, interesting. And then what's the other one?
New Jersey.
Okay, tell us about that.
New Jersey is interesting. Chris Christie is the only Republican to have won the New Jersey gubernatorial race in 23 years. It's historically a blue stronghold, but super tight this year. So it would be pretty epic if the Republican pulls it off, but they're in play. And as one would expect in New Jersey, there's been some blood in the water. There are 850,000 more registered Democrats in New Jersey. And Cheryl has had the lead, but the Republican is closing fast.
Interesting.
So it would be fascinating if New Jersey goes Republican, even though it has 850,000 more registered Democrats. It may not happen, but it is a close race this year.
And is that also a reflection of the Trump administration or not?
I don't know. I mean, I think the pundits nationally are saying it is. Everything I have read is a test of Trump. But I am going to reject that notion a little bit. I think that most of us, he's made an outsized impact on our politics, but I think, and I frankly hope, that you're still voting for the governor that's selling your state's issues, not just national issues. To our segment last, I mean, not everything is national politics, and that's not what impacts us the most.
Yeah.
So I think we're attributing a lot of this as a litmus test to Trump. I think that's certainly in play. But I think New Jersey has been about New Jersey politics. I think Virginia, again, is the exception to that rule.
Yeah.
But I hope that candidates are largely still also carving out regional and state arguments that are relevant to those populations.
It's so interesting. And I know I've heard in previous city council races in my area, people asking about state level decisions and even federal level decisions, like city council does not make those decisions. Right. This is what we decide. We don't decide education policy and how we're going to fund the federal government. We don't decide that, right?
I know
we decide this part.
That's right. I think we always have chuckled when people will host these positions and saying, "Here's my view." Education's the quintessential one. Here's my view of this, and I'm thinking, well, I guess that's FYI,
right?
Because you will not be in the position to ever sort of impact.
That's right. All right. Look, Utah continues to step up for people in our community who are struggling to put food on their table, and Utah Representative Ariel DeFay is going to join us to talk about Utah's Week of Giving. That's coming up next. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by At Your Service Pros.
Emergency traffic brought to you by Mountain America. We have a crash southbound I-15 in American Fork. It's right near the on-ramp from 500 East, and it's blocking 3 left lanes of the freeway. 3 right lanes are open right now, but traffic is backed up almost to Main Street in Lehigh, so that's going to take you a bit of extra time you're not expecting to get through at this time of day. Wasatch Front businesses and property managers, GoPave Utah provides all asphalt repairs for your parking. For patching and paving along the Wasatch Front, contact GoPave Utah, GoPaveUtah.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule at 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
How do you gain an advantage in the #1 economy in the nation? Attend the Utah Business Forward Conference, where Utah's best business minds share their knowledge about the innovation, resilience, strategy, and relationships it takes to propel your business and career to the next level. Get access to leaders in various industries, from product development and manufacturing to finance and entrepreneurship. Make plans today to attend Utah Business Forward on November 17th, 2025 at Hyatt Regency Salt Lake City. Sign up now at forward.utahbusiness.com.
Fresh off its UK tour. Over 200 sold-out performances. The Covey invites you to step back in time to see the true story of the boy band that changed music forever. See The Osmonds, a new musical, in its exclusive North American premiere. A national theatrical event that starts right here in Provo in March 2026. Go behind the scenes and see the Osmonds as they rise to fame with hits like Yo-Yo, Crazy Horses, and Puppy Love. And see the mistake that brought it all crashing to the ground. A tale of redemption, family, and sacrifice, as told by Jay Osmond himself. The North American premiere of The Osmonds, a new musical, coming to the Covey in March 2026. Presented in cooperation with the Utah Office of Tourism. Get tickets at coveycenter.org.
When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cyprus Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypruscu.com today.
The new Inside Sources.
So Utah, we've talked actually quite a bit on this show about Utah stepping up to help our friends in need during this time of uncertainty. And we are lucky to have with us in studio Representative Ariel DeFay, who has really jumped on a project called the Week of Giving. Welcome to our studio. Thanks.
Thank you so much for having me here.
So tell us just a little bit about what you're doing, what this is, and how we can help.
Yes, thank you. Well, in my capacity as a representative, I have had the opportunity to meet people from so many different sectors of the state. And recently we've experienced a lot of division, but there's one thing that I have noticed we can unite around, and that is, what are we going to do to feed our families through the month of November? And I just thought, what if we did a statewide campaign? Because we have so many philanthropies and businesses and government employees and government elected officials who are contributing. And I thought, let's involve everybody and let's use our platforms to involve the state. So we kicked off the Utah Week of Giving yesterday, and it is a campaign to invite everyone to donate whatever they can to the Utah Food Bank or any food bank in their community.
This is exciting because one of the things that I've learned along the way in life where I have been raising money for things, and all of us think we need a ton of money to make a difference. But $5, $10, $20, if more of us took the action, these smaller amounts go further. So I love this idea of like, we've got this week and let's all just step up at this super time of need.
Yes. We're encouraging families and organizations. If you are willing to even donate $1 for every member of your family or every member of your organization, $1 equals 3 meals.
That's amazing.
So it's exponential, and we can do a lot of good with $1.
That's exciting.
So do you have a goal?
Yes, the goal is $50,000, and we are off to a good start, but we would love to reach that goal.
So $50,000 translates to how many meals? I don't know.
150,000 meals.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I was, in preparation for this, I always want to make a pitch to our listeners that's personal because that's what motivates me. And I was looking up the Mayo Clinic, a bunch of other sites. When you give and when you volunteer, it activates your serotonin space in your brain, and you feel better and you feel more connected to your community. And there's all these physiological and mental impacts of giving. So there's the benefit to the recipient, but if you're just listening, if you just want to give yourself a little boost today, it's totally worth giving for your own mental health. I think I always admire the representatives because service, like you're giving, you also find that you feel connected through your service. So offering us a platform in which we can do something for others, but actually what it does is connect us to the world. I love where you started this conversation about sometimes we're feeling really divided right now, and you've provided this week of giving. What do you hope in terms of conversations that this will spur? Or you're working with a ton of organizations as well, right? Tell us a little bit about the organizations you're working with and how we as groups maybe can participate.
Yes, I love that. First of all, like you mentioned, giving makes you feel good, right? And it does unite us. When we give together and unite around a purpose, we grow as a group. And so this is a really unifying opportunity for the state of Utah because we can agree on this and we can come together and really build a united culture and keep that within our Utah culture. And secondly, yes, we've had some great foundations reach out. I've had conversations with the Policy Project, with the Andrus Family Foundation and the Miller Family Foundation. Speaker Schultz and President Adams and Governor Cox have all been behind this. And then the Chambers of Commerce are reaching out. The League of Cities and Towns and the Utah Association of Counties are all reaching out to their membership. So we have a broad network of people who are reaching out to their networks and getting people excited about this mission.
That's really amazing. And, you know, one of the things as we are in November is we know that there are people as we head into the holidays anyway that are in need. And this year it's particularly acute with government shutdown and economic uncertainty, SNAP benefits going away. Are you hoping that maybe this kind of effort can continue?
I would love to see it. I would actually love to see this be a yearly campaign that we all come together as Utahns. But yes, absolutely. Like, I think this is something we can unite on. We can unite on serving our people and doing it together. And so let's continue that spirit of giving together.
So how do we take an action? We can go online. We can donate to our favorite charity as well. I think you're focused on the Utah Food Bank. Is that right? Yes, that's correct.
Yes. It is about giving in any capacity and serving in any capacity, however you can this week. This is the week to do it. Our link that we are making it simple for everyone is justgiving.com, and you write in the campaign name, Utah Week of Giving. But yes, please donate to your favorite charity. Please donate to your local food bank and encourage those in your network to do so as well.
For those of you who have good social media followings, let's all post this week. I don't have I'm not going to lie. I'm talking to other people. I have a lame social media following. But for those of you who have good ones, this is worthy of a good pass along retweet here, right? This is a good thing to pass along and put on your friends and family list of things to do.
Well, I have social media, but I am not a gigantic influencer. I don't have 1 million followers, but I hope there are some influencers who do. You know, you have an article that you wrote for the Deseret News about this week, and you talked about the Utah Way. I think you've kind of been talking about how we as a culture in Utah, like, we are good at giving. But talk to us just a little bit about how you see this applying with the Utah Way that's thrown around on Capitol Hill a lot.
Yes, on Capitol Hill, the Utah Way really means coming together and working collaboratively to find solutions. And although it may not be the perfect solutions, it's knowing that we've worked with all the stakeholders and being respectful and having open and honest dialogue. And this is how we do things and a culture that's in our DNA. And I want to see that fostered and moving forward within our state. And so the Utah Way is something that I hope this campaign will preserve and encourage people to participate in and understand, because that is really the culture on Capitol Hill, and really that comes from the citizens. So let's have the citizens continue in that spirit.
Okay, so this is the week. We've got a number of different opportunities. I'm going to switch gears a little and ask you just about how you're feeling in general about it's election day. It's not for state offices, but it's for local offices. How are you feeling Utah communities are responding to, as Holly said, the shutdown, election day? You are on the front lines. I love the work that the House of Representatives does. Give us your feelings about Utah politics right now and what you're focused on, and what do you see changing, or what do you think should remain the same?
Yeah, I mean, uncertainty is the word that comes to mind. I think a lot of people are uncertain of how things are going to pan out, and are we going to get money for SNAP benefits? Right. Is that going to happen? Are the leaders that we do elect today going to help get us through kind of a difficult time with the government shutdown? But on top of that, I would also say I'm hopeful. I think there are good people out there who are running for office, who are getting their message out. As I've listened to the candidates in my district and across the state, I know that there are many people wanting to do good for their communities and wanting to work hard. And so I think if we can vote for those people, please take the time to vote. My son turned 18, and he is voting today.
That's super cool.
First time. So I'm thrilled that I get to reach that milestone with him. So that's really fun.
Well, that was a nice, hopeful note. Thank you, Representative Ariel DeFay. So many cities, as you mentioned, are voting for new leadership today, but a new mayor has already been selected in Mill Creek after the previous mayor decided to step down. Mill Creek Mayor-elect Sherry Jackson will call the show next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. Today is Election Day in Utah, but before the ballots are counted tonight, a new mayor was already elected in Mill Creek last night after the previous mayor resigned.
I will try my hardest to follow in his ways and also create my own path in this role. Mill Creek is a really special city, and I feel honored to serve as the second mayor and first female mayor.
Sherry Jackson was selected as the new city mayor by the city council. She will finish out Jeff Silvestrini's term. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Former Vice President Dick Cheney, considered by many political observers to be one of the most influential vice presidents in history, has died at the age of 84. ABC's Karen Travers has more on Cheney's impact on Washington.
After a stint as head of defense contractor Halliburton, Cheney returned to run George W. Bush's Vice Presidential Selection Committee and was selected himself.
The person who was best qualified to be my vice presidential nominee was working by my side.
After 9/11, Cheney was influential in formulating the U.S. response. The doctrine of preemptive action widened the war on terrorism from Afghanistan to Iraq.
Cheney died from complications from pneumonia. Your money at this moment, the Dow down 141 points to 47,194. Coming up, another warm day today, even warmer tomorrow. KSL weather's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
This holiday season, won't you help us by bringing joy to a young child? It begins with the Children's Center Utah's Hope and Healing online fundraiser. Now through Thursday, your donations will support essentials for therapeutic work, including tools, play materials, books, and art supplies, so children can better express emotions and heal. Your contributions will be vital. Local foundations and individuals are matching donations so that every gift will have maximum impact. It's 90 hours of giving to raise $90,000, which will provide 90 children with 4 sessions of family therapy. You can even make your gift in honor or in memory of a loved one or family member. Plus, the giving doesn't end when the 90 hours are over. The Children's Center Utah welcomes donations of winter clothing, diapers, and formula to support basic needs for families who struggle to afford essentials during these holiday months. Visit childrenscenterutah.org. Help a family this holiday season. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, we still have a crash northbound I-15 in Springville. This is just before you get to the 400 South exit. It's been over on the left shoulder for about 3 or 4 hours now. The good news is we don't have enough traffic to slow anybody down as they go past. Then you've got a disabled vehicle as you continue northbound 15 in the Pleasant Grove area. That too is on the right shoulder, not slowing you down. Looks like we're pretty much back to freeway speeds throughout Utah, Salt Lake, Davis, and Weber counties, and I-80 looking pretty good through Parley's Canyon as well. #1 best-selling author Richard Paul Evans' new book, The Christmas Stranger, is now on sale. Critics are calling it one of his best. Get your copies of The Christmas Stranger today. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, we're almost just 2 degrees away from our expected high today of 68, well above normal. And then as much as 71 expected tomorrow. Then a cold front moves in, keeping the highs in the 50s for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Right now, though, as I said, 66 degrees and sunny. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So it's Holly Richardson and Mara Carabello, the president, right, of Exoro Group. And she has a wealth of knowledge. I love Mara, so really great to have
I'm
you.
Excited to be here today. It's good. We've known each other for a while, but this is
time.
the first time we get to do a show
I know.
together. I'm excited.
So we were talking about Election Day today, but a new mayor was named yesterday, and that is in Mill Creek. So talk to us just a little bit about how that mayor was chosen.
So Mill Creek is a interesting city and a dynamic city. It's on the East Bench in Salt Lake County. It's been around as a community for a very long time. They went through a rigorous conversation over several years about whether they wanted to be their own city. This was a while ago. They decided they did want to be their own city, that they did want to do their own services, and that they wanted to chart their own destiny. So they elected Mayor Silverstrini, Jeff Silverstrini, as the first ever Mill Creek mayor and their council members. And during this mayor and council's time, have they done big things. If you live in this area, you know this. They built a civic center. They've got this great ice skating, roller skating, rock wall climbing city center. It's very dynamic. They've had to make a lot of choices as a community as they transition. And then Mayor Silvestrini, a couple of weeks ago, late September, announced that he was going to retire for health reasons, which leaves this big established city with an opening. And then they went through what I think we'll hear from the mayor in a minute, what she thinks, but a most interesting process in which you applied.
Yeah.
And then you had 1 minute to state your reasons. She'll correct me. I think there were 7 of them.
I think 5. I saw.
5. Okay. And they stated the reason why they wanted to be the mayor. And then the mayor and the council interviewed them. And they selected one. And now Mill Creek is lucky to have their first female mayor, Sherry Jackson. And she's with us here today to talk about what she's been experiencing. Mayor Jackson.
Hi.
Well, I should say you get sworn in on November 10th.
Monday.
But
Correct.
we're going to call you Mayor Jackson.
Okay.
So you can get used to it.
I can get you. Yeah, I'll need to.
So tell us a little bit about the process. You interviewed in front of the city council, and of course you recused yourself from the voting. But tell us what that process is like.
So first of all, we did have an application to fill out that was actually pretty rigorous. There were 16 questions that required a lot of thought and effort to answer. So it wasn't just the interview period. It was also this questionnaire. They had to submit a resume and a letter of intent, and all those things are available, online for the public to see. And then based on our answers and to those questions, the city council had other questions that they asked us during the interview. And each candidate, there were 5 of us, were given 20 minutes. And with each question, we had a time limit, so we couldn't just kind of dwell on one topic, so that they could move through their questions and kind of get a thorough interview with each of us. So that was the process last night. We had a 1-minute interview, and then we had the introduction, then the interview, and we were each out of the room. We couldn't sit there and listen to each other's answers. So didn't give anybody an advantage. And then at the end, we had a 2-minute kind of summary closing, and then they deliberated and made their decision.
Wow.
That's exciting. Congratulations. So as city council, you've been a part of building Mill Creek, and I've been a little envious of what you all are doing. You guys are doing some amazing things.
Thank you.
You haven't had much time, but as you shift gears to being the mayor, have you thought about what's first on your agenda, or what are some big things that you have your eyes on now?
Well, so we have started working on our Mill Creek Common Phase 2. We want to keep moving forward with that project because it's been such a great amenity for our city. It's also an economic driver, and it's a housing opportunity. There's a lot of housing units that have been approved for that area. So we want to see that come to fruition and be built out as we've envisioned it. Housing is a big issue. We're all concerned about the cost of housing and the availability of housing in our valley and throughout the state and the nation as a whole. So continuing to find ways to add more housing to a built-out city is tricky. And it's a little bit of an issue, too, when residents really are happy with their city. They don't want to see a lot of changes, but yet change is inevitable and growth is necessary to accommodate the number of people who live in our city and live in our valley. So kind of finding creative ways to address that housing shortage and need is really important. And we're getting a lot of pressure from the state. Governor Cox has said, if cities aren't more proactive in permitting housing, we may lose our zoning authority, which quite honestly would be tragic. We're the ones who live here and are familiar with our cities. We're familiar with our streets and neighborhoods, and we know where housing density is best to be placed. And so we really want to maintain that authority. So being able to do that and be nimble and creative so we can fill the need is important. Another big issue, too, is with the federal government shutdown. We have a lot of grants that we've had applied for, been awarded, but haven't necessarily got the funding yet to help with infrastructure improvements, We've had grants for our after-school programs, things that are really necessary for our city. So we're trying to find ways to still fulfill those obligations and take care of the things we feel are important while maybe not receiving the money that we had anticipated as we envisioned those programs. So those are some of the first challenges right now, and really just kind of getting in and continuing moving forward with the vision that we've established as a city council, along with input from Mill Creek residents, and just making sure that there's no gap, right, that we keep the momentum that we've had going for the past 9 years and just keep moving forward.
That's awesome. So can you explain a little bit? You are taking over basically for Mayor Silvestrini. You've got 2 years left. You'll be leaving the city council, and I understand there were 2 years left in that in your city council spot.
Correct.
What is going to happen now to replace you on the city council?
So it's the same process. There will be an application period, and it's all spelled out by state law, so it has to be done rather quickly, which with the holidays is kind of a challenge. So I hope people are aware, and those who want to apply, get their applications in. I have not discussed with anybody because we obviously didn't know there would be a vacancy in my council district until last night. So I'm meeting with our city manager today to just kind of talk about dates and figure out when, with our meeting schedule, we can have that application period and then the interviews and select the replacement for me.
So I'm going to close with a question that has been a theme for Holly and I. As you're well aware, it is election day in Utah for municipal elections. And
yes.
What is the best pitch for why, as Holly and I agree, why it is more important to vote in local elections than any other time?
Oh, man. Local elections, I am approached all the time by residents of Mill Creek, whether I'm at the grocery store, at a soccer game, at church, whatever. We're the government that affects you on a daily basis. If there's a big pothole in your road, if there's a sidewalk missing in your neighborhood, if you've got issues with storm drain, and flooding, we're the government that can really make a big difference in your day-to-day living. The zoning, the businesses that are in your community, all those things that affect you. And people, I think, kind of don't realize how much city government affects their lives. We see everything on the news with the federal government and our state government, and those are big, important issues. But by and large, they don't touch you every day. You drive out and hit a pothole every day, you grumble and you're upset and you want it taken care of, and that's your local government. And we're the ones who can affect that immediate change. So making sure that you've got somebody in local government who shares your same values and interests, who is really responsive to your needs, who's mindful of your tax dollars. We collect property tax. We also, have sales tax receipts. So making sure that we are mindful and careful with your tax dollars is so important, because we need to be able to make those changes. We need to be able to make those fixes and repairs in our infrastructure. We are responsible for public safety, for trash pickup, all those things that we rely on that you don't necessarily think about, but when it isn't there, it's a big loss. So local government matters, and your vote matters. Everybody, I think there's a lower turnout for local elections because they aren't the big, talked about issues or the people necessarily that you hear about in the news. But it's so important. Just cast your vote and be a part of the solution and be a voice for your community.
Thank you so much for joining us. That was Mill Creek Mayor-elect Sherry Jackson, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you with high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Save $2,500 on a new furnace and air conditioner from Any Hour Services. For more information, call Any Hour Services or schedule a free estimate online at anyhourservices.com.
Inside Sources.
So a tense ICE arrest at the Salt Lake City airport caused a lot of attention online because it was very public. It was filmed. And here's just a little sample, but we do want to warn you, it might be disturbing. So I think one of the things that has come out since that arrest, which we've talked about on this show previously, Mara, but it really, I mean, she was saying, I have papers. And it turns out she does have a work permit that's valid through 2029.
Right. But she has a complicated story.
But it's complicated. So we have KSL News Radio, Adam Small. Look, Adam, you spoke with this woman's attorney, and it does sound complicated. So can you break it down for us? What'd you learn?
Yeah, very. So just to kind of start, so she, again, does have that work permit that's valid through 2029. But the reason that she was arrested by immigration officers is because it turns out she had an outstanding order, like a deportation order signed off by a judge. So the reason that, so in a lot of cases, a work permit doesn't give you legal status in America. It's just kind of like a, hey, you're on the right path kind of thing. You know, you're able to work, you know, pay taxes, all that kind of stuff. But when you have a deportation order, that work permit's not going to stop the arrest. So her attorney, Adam Craik, actually kind of defended the officers in a way of like, hey, it was targeted. They were there fulfilling that order from the judge. They were doing their job like legally justified. But where that deportation order comes from is what makes this complicated. So she, for context, she entered the U.S. for the first time in 2007. She's originally from El Salvador. And some years ago, she was married. She's not anymore. Her ex-husband filed for asylum for both of them, but they got duped. I'll put it that way. So there are these things called notaries, or in Spanish, it's notarias, I think is how it's said. Basically, there are either these individual people or entities that claim to offer immigration legal services, but they're not actually licensed to practice law. They will offer tax services and just be these little, in these little plaza business centers and just offer hey, we have cheap legal services. We can help you in your stuff, but they don't actually have law licenses. And so they got duped thinking they could help them file for asylum, and they did it. But when they filed for them, they're not licensed to practice law, so they have no idea what they're doing. She has lived in either Woods Cross or Bountiful, between, I think, 2 addresses the entire time she's lived in Utah. But this notary put an address of where to contact her for USCIS in West Valley at an apartment she's never lived at.
Oh, wow.
And so when you're waiting pending asylum, a green card, anything to obtain some kind of legal status here in America, you are going to get formal notices, and the government needs a way to contact you because, especially in an asylum case, you're going to get a date eventually for an interview where you can go in and plead your case. Hey, this is why I fled. Here's why I'm here. Here's why I'm seeking asylum. And you can have your case heard. So some years ago, they set, because the asylum actually, even though it was filed by someone who doesn't know what they're doing, not legally authorized to practice law, it still went through the system. And it's actually still showing pending to this day. So they actually set a date for her interview, but they sent the notice to West Valley, where she didn't live. So she didn't get the notice. She missed the interview. Eventually, deportation order is issued. She gets no notice about that because, again, address she's never lived at. So she's walking around all these years thinking, hey, I've got a work permit. I'm fine. I mean, I think Adam said it best when he talked to me, saying, if you know you have a deportation order, you don't act like that when you're being arrested by immigration officers. She was completely blindsided. And so now where we sit today is she was taken to the Salt Lake County Jail after the arrest. She was still there as of yesterday. I was put on another story today, so I haven't been able to follow up with Adam yet on how things are going. But she is set to be moved to an out-of-state ICE detention facility, which could end up being Colorado. We've seen a couple of stories that we covered with Utahns being arrested by ICE, getting sent to their detention facility in Aurora. But Adam actually is worried that she could get sent as far as a facility in Louisiana, which apparently, and he told me it has a bad rap for, I guess, the conditions there and stuff, but that's a whole nother thing. But what comes down to it is, were agents justified in arresting her? Yes, her attorney even defends that. But what he's arguing now is he's trying to stop the deportation on the basis of 2 things. One being she didn't get notice. She got duped by a notary that didn't know what they were doing. He's basically going to argue she would have showed up if she knew and got the notice. And under federal law, you need advance notice to be contacted, go to your interview. And he's also going to argue that if she is deported, it is going to cause undue harm to 2 of her children. Specifically, she has 4 children, all are U.S. citizens, but 2 of which have serious health issues. One, I think, has had at least 1 or maybe even multiple brain surgeries. The other has severe asthma. So he is now trying to stop this deportation based on the fact of, look, she was working. She thought she was, doing what she was supposed to do. She thought she was legally authorized to be here. And she has 2 children that need her care, or it is going to cause them undue harm.
So I don't know the answer to this question. She was sent notices to an address she never lived at, and yet somehow she's responsible for knowing. Like, is there some kind of legal responsibility on her part to track down where notices would have gone? It seems weird that it would have gone to a place where she had never lived.
Yeah, and I think there is some legal responsibility for that. This is something I'm not super familiar with. This is more a better question for her attorney. But I do believe that, in the short answer from what I've seen in the immigration stories I've covered, yes, there is some responsibility on your part. But something to know, too, is that her ex-husband was the one that filed on behalf of her. It doesn't sound like she was a huge part of the process of actually going through that notary, filing. It sounds like he kind of spearheaded that, but just applied for both of them. So after all these years, she said that all I knew was that we filed, but I never heard anything afterwards. But another thing that her attorney told me was that when someone is given an asylum case, a federal officer, I don't know if it's with you, I think it's with USCIS, they'll basically assign someone to that individual case. And there are things they have to do, like trying to contact that person. And there are some things on the records for her that kind of indicate that it doesn't sound like anyone actually tried to talk to her. Like, one of the things on her profile said presumed English Spanish. And it's like, wait a minute. If you called her or tried knocking on her door, you would know within 2 seconds you could just say she speaks Spanish.
Right.
So another thing he's looking into, her attorney, is that, hey, I don't think you guys followed all the steps in actually trying to contact her, and that kind of added to the cascade of problems of going through that notary unknowingly were not the best way to go.
So, Adam, to the larger issue of what we're doing right now in America with ICE, as you've talked to her attorney, I'm assuming you've reached out to ICE, but I'm assuming maybe they're not agreeing to talk. They've traditionally not wanted to talk about individual cases. But it sounds like everything that you've investigated, she has no criminal record. What we're outlining now, to be clear, is civil infractions, and they are violations of statute, but they're not criminal, they're civil. So have you found any evidence that she has any criminal background?
No, not that I found. Excuse me. So her criminal history consists of 3 either parking or traffic tickets. I think we're calling them traffic tickets. I think 2 of them are parking. Another one might be, I think she parked too close to a crosswalk or something, which may have been classified as something else. So basically, to keep it simple, 3 traffic tickets. And obviously, you could argue because she did enter the U.S. without legal documentation.
But that's a civil violation, not a criminal violation.
Well, it can be charged as a misdemeanor in some places, but because she was never actually charged or it never got filed in court, obviously there's that innocence until proven guilty, and it never went through court. So that's not technically part of her quote unquote criminal history. So in terms of criminal history, you're talking about 3 parking tickets.
Yeah.
Well, and she also thought she was on the right path, right? So if you have applied for asylum, you have permission to work here. She was doing things, in my opinion, also not an attorney, but that she was doing things that she needed to become a legal resident and then potentially citizen. So I'm looking at the article you wrote on KSLNewsRadio.com, and you said that if a judge grants a cancellation of the removal order, that she would become a permanent U.S. resident, and then she could become a U.S. citizen down the road.
Yeah, so the way it works is, the way you get permanent residency, and the most common way is a green card. So
right.
you have to usually marry a U.S. citizen to do that. Obviously, that's not her case. But from what Adam explained to me, her attorney, is that if you get an approval from a judge on this document, which is literally called cancellation of removal, literally cancellation of deportation, it will hold the same legal power as a green card. So it will literally give her permanent residency that she can renew every 10 years, or after, I believe it's like 4 years and 9 months, she could apply to naturalize, become a U.S. citizen. So there is a chance this could potentially all play out in her favor, where she can get, a permanent status here. But also that's depending on a judge. If a judge says no, she's going to be sent back to El Salvador.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks for that update, Adam. All right. With food stamp benefits in flux, school nutrition programs are stretched thin. Philanthropists are stepping up to take a bite out of childhood hunger. But is it enough to combat school lunch debt? We'll talk about it after the break.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. It's officially Election Day here in Utah, and voters are set to decide several key local races, including who will be the mayors of cities like Provo, Eagle Mountain, Lehigh, Sandy, and Riverton. Voters will also be deciding who will serve on the first ever school boards for the 3 school districts that will replace the Alpine School District. You have until 8 o'clock tonight to either vote in person or leave your ballot in a drop box. You can find election updates at KSLNewsRadio.com. Our top story, this national story this hour from ABC News. It's day 35 of the government shutdown.
You have the Senate Majority Leader John Thune. He says that he's optimistic that there could be some talks that move us towards progress, towards ending this shutdown. But parties seem to still be split on this, and even Thune acknowledges that if there is not movement in the next day or two, that we could be in this for an even longer haul.
ABC's Rachel Scott reporting. The Grand County Search and Rescue Team says October was the busiest they've been all year, with over 20 different rescues.
Pretty wide mix. It goes from dirt bikers to ATVs, base jumpers, mountain bikers, lost parties, a little bit of everything.
Sergeant Bradley Hines tells KSL TV they recently had to rescue a base jumper whose parachute was stuck on a rock ledge, and the rescue took 7 hours. Your money at this moment, the Dow down 218 points, a little bit more steep drop than earlier this morning. It's at 47,116. Coming up, warm today, even warmer tomorrow, and then we start to get back into the 50s. We'll check weather next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say?
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse, cause you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth two in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
Utah Mammoth Hockey is back at Delta Center. Don't miss your chance to be part of the excitement as the Mammoth hit the ice all season long. Grab your friends, rally the family, and lock in your seats for the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great seats are available for most games, but they're selling fast. Head to UtahMammoth.com to get your tickets today. That's UtahMammoth.com. Your home for all things Mammoth hockey.
Get set for fall entertaining with incredible deals at Scandinavian Designs. The fall entertaining sale features huge savings on select furniture and decor for every space, from dining and living rooms to guest spaces ready for overnight stays. Refresh your home today and make it holiday ready just in time for the gathering season ahead. But only for a limited time. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple, you make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets the Duralast battery.
have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Heather Kelly.
No delays right now across the Wasatch Front on freeways or most of your city streets. Now, there are some construction areas, so that may slow you down just a little bit as you go past Orange Barrels, but there's no backups anywhere that I can see on I-15, the east or west side belt routes, 201 freeway. We do still have a few disabled vehicles on the shoulders of I-15. One's in Springville heading north, another one northbound 15 in Sandy near 90th South, and then if you're southbound 15 at 90th South and Sandy, there's another disabled vehicle on that right shoulder. The UTA, try UTA and get more done while you ride. Games, work, books, shows, you'll be too busy to notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, enjoy this while it lasts. 10 degrees above normal both today and tomorrow, near 70 degrees. Then a cold front moves in Thursday, dropping daytime temperatures by 20 degrees. It's 66 and sunny right now in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Today it's Holly Richardson and Mara Carabello, so thanks for joining me, Mara.
Yeah, nice to be here.
So with food stamps and, the entire SNAP program benefits in flux right now, school nutrition programs have been stretched thin, and a coalition of philanthropists, including the Smith Entertainment Group's Ryan and Ashley Smith, have stepped in with a $250,000 lifeline. However, I don't know how far that's going to go. So luckily, we have with us Lois Collins from the Deseret News, who just wrote about this topic. Hi, Lois.
Hi, good to see you.
So tell us about school lunch debt and where we're at in Utah.
So the school lunch debt, it's not just debt.
it's also money to keep moving the program forward. So they're stretched pretty thin, and it varies from district to district. So this $250,000 donation is going to be divided, I understand, between 8 districts and not necessarily evenly. They haven't figured out exactly how they're going to allocate it or what they're going to use as their metrics, but they know that Weber needs help, that Salt Lake County needs help, that Davis needs help. Those will get some rural districts will get help. And the money will be used for overall child nutrition programs. So it's the programs that impact the school, but it could be any number of different things. It's not just school lunch.
Oh, good to know.
And for right now, it's just a one-time donation. It's a moment in time.
It's a one-time. What they said, what they really said very eloquently, was that they hope that people will step up and will augment it. And of course, right now, people are also trying to help food banks.
Right.
They're trying to help. I mean, we've got a lot of food issues going on right now. And it's important to keep in mind that this $250,000 donation has absolutely nothing to do with changing the SNAP situation,
Right.
which is the Supplemental Nutrition Program.
In your article, too, I thought it was important to re-mention that 1 in 6 Utah children currently experience hunger due to financial strains.
Yep.
That's an incredible number.
Well, and my kid runs an after-school program, and it's interesting because they have Kids Cafe, which is provided by the food bank. And for some of those kids, that may be dinner.
Mm-hmm.
School lunch and the child nutrition programs are really important. They keep, when school's out, they keep kids at home at summer having some food, maybe at a local park or whatever. These are important. And regardless of what you think politically about anything at all, who wants a kid to be hungry?
Yeah.
You shared a story about Emily Bell McCormick, who's the founder and president of the Policy Project, watching a child with mashed potatoes. Do you want to share that story?
Yeah, this child put mashed potatoes in his pocket. And the principal saw him put mashed potatoes in his pocket and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm taking these home to my little sister." There's so many stories that were shared at that press conference of little things that had been observed. The principal at Lincoln Elementary, where the event occurred, talked about growing up in poverty and having a heart for these kids and knowing how important the food is and how important nutrition is and how it ties into learning, too.
Yeah.
So there were a ton of really interesting, heartfelt stories about why this matters and why we can't let kids be hungry.
Right.
So it's interesting to me. You interviewed the list of folks who got together for this is quite a list. Some of whom are in politics, some of whom are leading industry. We mentioned the owners of the Jazz, Mike and Melissa Schultz Family Foundation. I know gave to this. He's the Speaker of the House, the Policy Project. Actually, some government relations guys. It looks like another Andreas Family Foundation. What do you think having? It's an interesting thing as I read this about a number of very big giving philanthropists who I think Utah has had a tradition of philanthropy. Does this inspire us all to give? Does it turn us off? It's an interesting question of right now in this need.
I don't know the answer to that. I think that sometimes when people who are very wealthy give, you judge how much they give.
Yeah, interesting.
It's kind of like you could have given more, or why should I give if they're doing it?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is every single one of us knows somebody who needs help.
Yeah.
Well
and
said, yeah.
maybe I can give $5 and you can give $50,000. But the bottom line is I think it's a call to rise to the occasion. And we're in a crisis right now. A lot of families are really struggling. And the SNAP issue has made it hard. Families are losing health insurance. They're losing all sorts of things. And so they all pile together, and you have to figure out where you're going to put your resources. And those of us who have a little bit more should maybe give a little bit more. And we'll give to different degrees because we have to different degrees.
Yeah. We have a texter who said basic human needs should never be a debate. And I think that, I think largely there's agreement that kids should not be going hungry. But it can become politicized, can't it?
Well, it was politicized when they were talking about whether or not schools should provide breakfast.
Right.
because there were a lot of politicians who said parents should provide breakfast. Well, nobody disagrees that parents should provide breakfast, but
if they're able to.
But you know, you don't know what their situation is. I don't know what their situation is, and the bottom line is, I want kids to have breakfast.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know about the donation from the owner of Crumble?
I do not.
So that one was related to the BYU football game where they beat the University of Utah,
Which is why I did not know that.
so what he did is he said, okay, I'm going to pay the fine for people rushing down on the field. But then the fine was not actually levied, and so he ended up, people had actually donated money as well, and he had committed $50,000. What he did was take that money and pay off the school lunch debt in Salt Lake City school districts and the Provo school district, because that's where the two universities were.
Which is massive. What a great gift.
Yeah.
And there's a school, so school lunch debt is a real thing.
It is.
And schools can't afford to not have the money for the lunches, and there are certain rules around it, but how can you deny a kid a meal because his parents didn't pay his lunch debt?
Well, look, I remember during the summer there was a conversation about the summer programs because funding was being withheld, right? And it was money that was already allocated, but because of all the stuff that was going on with DOGE, they said you can expect that money is actually not coming to you. And they got, I think, like 2 days notice, right? The program was, the funding was supposed to be there July 1st, and like 2 days before, they're like, the money is not coming.
Yeah. Lois, in your article, I want to make sure we have this in. You do give a link to Utah Lunch Debt Relief Foundation, which goes directly into school by schools across Utah to this lunch fund, and it is utldr.org. That's utldr.org. It's an association called the Utah Lunch Debt Relief Foundation. So today feels like a call to action for us.
Does. Yeah, it does. And also you can donate through the Policy Project. So, Lois, thanks again for keeping us educated on all the things that are happening.
Well, thanks for telling me about Crumble.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's right.
It's part of the story, right? Part of the story. So thanks for joining us. And when we come back, this one is a passion for Mara. Coming up, Utah's driest county just made a splash. Washington County's rolled out the state's first regional water conservation plan. We'll talk about what that means for your faucet, your future, and Utah's drought when we come back.
This holiday season, won't you help us by bringing joy to a young child? It begins with the Children's Center Utah's Hope and Healing online fundraiser. Now through Thursday, your donations will support essentials for therapeutic work, including tools, play materials, books, and art supplies, so children can better express emotions and heal. Your contributions will be vital. Local foundations and individuals are matching donations so that every gift will have maximum impact. It's 90 hours of giving to raise $90,000, which will provide 90 children with 4 sessions of family therapy. You can even make your gift in honor or in memory of a loved one or family member. Plus, the giving doesn't end when the 90 hours are over. The Children's Center Utah welcomes donations of winter clothing, diapers, and formula to support basic needs for families who struggle to afford essentials during these holiday months. Visit childrenscenterutah.org. Help a family this holiday season. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Most folks wait till January to say, I should probably fix this or do something about how you feel. But you know what? You're going to go into 2026 with the resolution already done because Soda helps you lose the weight now, so your New Year's all celebration.
You and I both started our Soda weight loss journey in October and November, right? And I loved going into holiday parties knowing I had a plan. It wasn't just, I'm going to try not to. It was, this is my plan, because I've spoken with a nutritionist and I get a jump start on that, first of the year goal by beginning Soda weight loss right now.
Yeah, there's no guesswork. You're supported every step of the way, and you need that. And right now, there's an amazing offer from Soda for you and your partner. You join, and your partner joins for free.
So why gain 20 pounds just to lose it in the new year? Go to Soda Weight Loss today and begin today.
That's sodaweightloss.com, SOTA weightloss.com, because Soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Save $2,500 on a new furnace and air conditioner from Any Hour Services. For more information, call Any Hour Services or schedule a free estimate online at anyhourservices.com.
Thinking about retirement? Make sure a My Social Security account is a part of your plan. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can find out if you're eligible to receive benefits, compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates, view spousal benefit estimates, and more. Plan for your future. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
And expanded Inside Sources.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. I am Mara Carabello. I'm filling in for Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson. I'm happy to be on your show today. It's been fun.
So happy to have you.
So Washington County, our friends down south, are leading the way in water conservation. Last week, Santa Clara elected officials joined their counterparts in the 7 other cities in the county to approve the 2025 Joint Agency Regional Water Conservation Plan, which is a first of a kind in Utah. For those of you who know me, you know I love a good water story. I love water policy. It's got everything you want. It's got high stakes, intrigue, and as living in a western dry state, water, there's that old adage that says, whiskey is for drinking and water is for fighting.
That is right.
So first of a kind in the state, a regional water plan. We have the general manager of Washington Conservancy, Water Conservancy District, Zach Renstrom, with us today. Zach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So set up for us what a regional water plan is and why it's significant.
So right now, Utah state law requires every city to have a conservation plan. And so traditionally, our individual cities would go out and pay a contractor to come up with this plan and then submit it to the state. Well, down here, all our cities are connected. Literally, the pipes are connected with one another. And we've done this amazing job on doing all this really exciting conservation measures down here. And so our cities kind of came to the district and says, we're already collaborating together. Let's put this all together in a plan and submit one plan to the state of Utah for a regional conservation plan. And so the Water District took that on, and I got a call out to the Department of Water Resources. They were excellent in working with us to submit this. And so we put this plan together. Our cities all gave us great input, and we submitted it. And so not only collectively are we going to work together regionally for water conservation down here, but the other thing is this is actually going to be a significant tax savings to the taxpayers here. each individual city now doesn't have to submit this plan. We did it together and we saved money.
So I am looking at an article in the St. George News saying that you're going to save more than $100,000 just in consultant and administrative costs. That's significant.
It really is. And some of our smaller cities that don't have as much of a flexibility in their budget, it was really difficult for them to even come up with, the funds to pay for this study, because you have to go out and get, technical people to put this together. And so the smaller cities are really grateful for us taking on this and doing it collaboratively.
So if us Northerners are looking at this, Zach, and saying we should do something like it, where are the sticking points? Where is collaboration hard? Where did individual cities have to give up something or get something?
When we first had that discussion, we called them all in and we all sat together. And the big thing that people have to realize is what is happening in your neighbor's yard is going to affect you. And it's the same thing up north. If one city's doing something with their water, it's going to affect their neighbors. And so we sat down and we said, listen, we're all in this together. So tell us what your concerns are. What are your worries? What are your thoughts? What would you like to see happen? And then we just kind of started working down that list. Fortunately, down here, we have a long history of collaboration with water projects. That's the only way you can live down here in the South. And so we already had that base set up, but there were some concerns, and we had to listen to that, and we had to make some modifications to the plan.
So I guess I'm surprised that this is the first time that there's a regional plan. Why is this the first time?
Well, the state has worked on a collective plan for years, and the state of Utah, the tough thing is, the state of Utah is such a large state, and we all live in our unique areas, and we all have unique watersheds. And so when the legislature came out, their first step was well, let's just get the cities working on this. And so we just kind of took what the state was kind of working on and really just focused it in a geographical area where we're all basically in the same watershed that really needs to work together. And, not to brag, but this is where the water district, we kind of stepped up and said, hey, we have a good, platform, for lack of a better word, that we can pull everybody together and get that collaboration going on. And we were able to get it done.
So I'm going to irresponsibly, Zach, throw out a headline, and then I want you to unpack that and what does that mean to me as an individual resident in Utah. So my headline is Utah is out of water. We are out of new water. That's the scary part. But what in practice does that mean about how we view water, how we use water as residents in Utah?
Yeah, there's a lot to pick apart there. The key thing is we have to do a couple of things. We have to be better stewards of our water. And so if you go back 50 years ago, all the water rights for the areas where the majority of the population is, that water was being used. So all that's happening now, and especially down here in Washington County, what we have to do is with that bucket of water that we have to do more with it. We have to stretch it. Technology has been a great thing. Our big water projects, like our dams and reservoirs, have really helped. But pretty much, we're not getting any new water. There is no new water out there. So the water that we have, we just have to utilize it in a more efficient and be better stewards of that water.
So how does this, what are you asking from individual residents with their water usage?
So the big thing down here is we're asking if you're going to build a new home in southern Utah, specifically Washington County, we need that home to be one of the most water efficient homes in the United States. And our home builders are doing an excellent job of that. So if you come down here and you look at our new homes that are being built, you see certain things like the landscaping. We have a lot of xeriscape landscaping that's going on. It's still very beautiful landscaping. It's green. It has all that, but it uses a fraction of the amount of water. And then inside the homes, I don't think you'd see any difference. But there are things inside that home that are saving us water. Like we have one of the things we like down here is those hot water cycle pumps where you have instant hot water. It saves water. And so there's some things you may see. You'd say, oh, that's still beautiful landscaping. And there's other things you wouldn't see, but it actually is saving us water.
So I'm gonna of course talk politics here for a second. It seems to me like water conservation isn't a particularly right or left, Republican or Democratic thing when you are in need in southern Utah. Has it been true that that partisan politics it hasn't been a factor when you talk about water conservation?
At least in Washington County, it hasn't been. And I think it's because people that live here and actually study water understand that we can't make it partisan. There's only so much water. And so we have to just do the best we can with what we have. And we spend a lot of time sitting down with everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. We sit down with them. We kind of lay out the scenarios, what could happen and the different things. And that communication, that collaboration has been very key to that, of keeping it out of that partisan politics down here, and we just don't see it.
So, Zach, before we lose you, if I'm an individual who wants to change some habits, I want to rip out some grass, I want to plant some things, what sort of incentives and rebates are there for me?
So we have a great rebate. It's our grass rebate. Now, what it is a landscape conversion. You just can't rip out grass and put concrete. You actually have to put back desert-friendly landscaping. And so they can actually come to our website and sign up for that program, and we will go out and measure it. And then if they make those steps, we will actually pay you for that. The average rebate is actually in the thousands of dollars. A lot of people are taking advantage of it, and we're very excited about it.
And those rebates exist statewide. Depending on where you live, but they're available throughout Utah. You check with your local conservancy district about those rebates. Is that right?
That's correct. You can go to the individual website for your water district, and that's usually where they're at. There are also, if you just Google Utah Waterways, there's links that will get to that. But there's lots of good rebates, and people are taking advantage of that, and it really does make a difference.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We've been speaking with Zach Renstrom, the general manager of the Washington Water Conservancy District, doing some common sense things like, hey, let's all get together because we're kind of all in this together.
I love that the cities all got together, 8 of them, and now they're saving money and it's easier.
Yeah, good for them. All right, when we come back, it's going to be a little bit of a sad topic. Stillbirths are far more common than previously believed, according to a new study just published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. We're going to talk with a doctor from the University of Utah Health when we come back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott, KSL's top story this hour. And it is breaking news. Utah's professional rugby team will not return next year. The Utah Warriors have been playing for Major League Rugby for 8 years, but did not get the funding needed to continue. Utah Warriors CEO says all season ticket holders will be refunded within the next week. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Former Vice President Dick Cheney, considered by many political observers to be one of the most influential vice presidents in history, has died. His political career spanned decades, even before serving as President George W. Bush's vice president. More from ABC's Karen Travers in Washington.
Richard Bruce Cheney was born in 1941 in Lincoln, Nebraska. He grew up in Casper, Wyoming, and married Lynn Ann Vinson in 1964. Cheney first arrived in Washington in 1969 to work for President Nixon's chief of staff, Donald Rumsfeld, before replacing his mentor in 1975. When Jimmy Carter defeated President Ford, Cheney returned to Wyoming, ran for Congress, and served 5 terms until President George H.W. Bush asked him to serve as Secretary of Defense.
In a statement, his family says he died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. He was 84 years old. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 288 points, the S&P is down 71 points. And coming up, partly cloudy skies. KSL weather is next. KSL News time 11:01.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Are you within 3 years of filing for Social Security? You've heard about delaying your benefits to get a bigger benefits check, right? But guess what? That could be a huge mistake. When you consider your taxes, Medicare premiums, and other benefits, you could potentially get more income by filing early. Find out the precise timing that could get you the most money possible with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't leave one dime on the table that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. That's 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs PPO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Heather Kelly.
We still have good speeds on the major freeways, but a couple of crashes up in Ogden. The first one is southbound on Harrison Boulevard. It's as you're coming out of Harrisville, right around 2nd Street in Ogden, and it's blocking, looks like, most of the lanes. Traffic is getting through in the median, but all of the southbound lanes are actually blocked with emergency vehicles and the crashed cars. And then if you're southbound on Harrison Boulevard, down at the south end of Ogden, it's right near 42nd Street, you have a right lane and shoulder blocked. Traffic is filing by in the one left lane, and that's backing traffic up just a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to have a good drive pretty much anywhere else you're trying to get to. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high of 68 today with partly cloudy skies. It's even warmer tomorrow. Forecasted high of 71. After that, rain moves in, and on Thursday, temperatures fall to the 50s. Right now, 66 and sunny. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit House Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com for Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So I'm Holly Richardson, and I'm joined today by Maura Carabello she's the president of the Exoro Group. She's awesome. And, you know, it's a sad topic. We have stillbirth and infant loss, they're really tragic when they happen. And there was a new study that came out like 2 weeks ago, maybe, from the Journal of the American Medical Association. And what they found, they said they did a deeper analysis of nearly 2.8 million pregnancies between 2016 and 2022, and they found 19,000 stillbirths out of those numbers, a rate that was higher than recorded in federal data. So The study that was published showed that nearly 30% of those stillbirths occurred in pregnancies that didn't seem to have any link to an obvious identified health risk or clinical risk or anything, but they're also falling unevenly along racial and socioeconomic lines.
I mean, these are shocking experiences. Many of us, I've experienced this in my journey, and they are devastating. They have so many impacts on women in terms of how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the experience, and then the fear then in retrying again.
Right.
Stillbirths are unique in that there was, from many in the personal experience, you think you have a viable pregnancy.
I know.
And so that's part of what happens is these happen a little later, and you mentally and physically are well into your hormones, you're well into your pregnancy, and it's concerning that we're seeing more and more of these, and they can devastate a family.
They can. We're joined by a national expert in high-risk pregnancies, and he's also the chairman of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the University of Utah. It's Dr. Bob Silver. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Silver.
Thank you for having me.
I'm wondering if you could talk to our listeners about stillbirth in general and any thoughts on this new study.
Stillbirth is still far too common, and the study really doesn't identify any new information that wasn't already relatively well known, but it does help highlight the problem, which is really one of the most tragic pregnancy complications, and is far too common. So it's really nice to see people becoming aware of it, and that awareness hopefully will lead people to trying to do more to prevent it.
What are some things that come to mind when you think about preventing stillbirths? What are some smart strategies?
Well, a lot of people have this impression that stillbirth can't be prevented, or that only some stillbirths can be prevented. And rates of stillbirth are a lot less now than they were, say, 100 years ago. So there have been a lot of really wonderful advances in medicine. But the rates are still much, much higher in the United States than other countries with similar resources. And they're probably still at least 30 to 50% higher than they are in similar countries. So we know that we can further reduce the rate of stillbirth. And stillbirth is caused by many, many different types of medical problems, and that's just a final common pathway. And all the things that cause stillbirth also cause live babies who are born early or who are born sick. And they also are the same things that cause moms to be very sick or even to die. So things that we do to reduce the risk of stillbirth also reduce the risk of having live-born babies with medical problems or sick babies. And they also help us reduce the risk of sick moms. But one of the things we can do is try to emulate what other countries are doing and some of the strategies that they're doing to reduce stillbirth. And one of the things that was notable for this study, there were two findings that were worth mentioning. One is that they found a higher rate of stillbirth than is reported in our vital statistics. And I think that's really important. We're not certain that it truly reflects the United States population because the study used a very specific database of insured patients. But it does point out that we don't capture all of the stillbirths, and so the quality of data we have is imperfect. Second, and this is really important, is many stillbirths occur in seemingly entirely healthy patients with entirely healthy pregnancies. And so if we're really going to have effective strategies, we need to target the entire population rather than just focusing on a subset of pregnancies with risk factors. So some of the things that other countries are doing, there are many things, and I'll just list a few, but several of them have implemented these care bundles, which are 5 or 6 or 7 different strategies used in combination to try to reduce the risk of stillbirth. And preliminarily, it's been very effective in the United Kingdom and also in Australia. And some of the strategies include decreasing smoking, taking care of high blood pressure during pregnancy, screening for babies that are small and not getting enough blood and oxygen, helping patients pay better attention to fetal movement, taking better care of patients during labor. So those are just some of the things that other countries are doing and that hopefully we can start doing better in the United States.
So, Dr. Silver, I am seeing that the University of Utah has a Stillbirth Center of Excellence. And I'm looking on the website, and it says that there's a number of goals that you have, but one of them is to cut racial disparities in U.S. stillbirth rates in half. Can you speak just briefly to the racial disparities?
You bet. There are many types of disparities in rates of stillbirth, and many groups suffer a higher burden of stillbirth, and we're not even 100% sure why. So one of the things that happens is there are major differences based on race or ethnicity, even if you control for access to care and other medical problems. And so trying to figure that out is really an important thing. And there's a lot of ongoing research to try to get at the whys of that, and then also how to fix it. Another type of disparity that is really important for Utahns is there's a much higher rate in rural areas compared to urban areas. And part of that may be access, part of that it may be a surrogate for income and education and other health factors. But that's another type of disparity that we're trying to work to reduce. But honestly, our understanding of the whys for some of the disparities are not as good as they need to be. And the first place we have to look in order to reduce the disparities is figure out why those disparities exist in the first place.
So this is such an important topic that impacts so many people. We really appreciate Dr. Bob Silver joining us today from the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the University of Utah. Dr. Silver, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, and thanks for highlighting the issue.
So, Holly, wow, what an important issue, particularly in a state that has a lot of kids. Environmental factors, so many. I think we believe it's important to keep talking about these things so that people feel like they can have these discussions in their lives.
One of the things that I love that they're doing in Utah, specifically with the Stillbirth Center, is that they want to double the proportion of affected families who are receiving bereavement support. And we've talked about that briefly. It's so important.
Okay, so next up for us, there's a new president in town, and he's at a university, and we're going to talk to him, so stay tuned next.
Most folks wait till January to say, I should probably fix this or do something about how you feel. But you know what? You're going to go into 2026 with the resolution already done because soda helps you lose the weight now, so your New Year's all celebration.
You and I both started our soda weight loss journey in October and November, right? And I loved going into holiday parties knowing I had a plan. It wasn't just, I'm going to try not to. It was, this is my plan, because I've spoken with a nutritionist and I get a jump start on that, first of the year goal by beginning soda weight loss right now.
Yeah, there's no guesswork. You're supported every step of the way, and you need that. And right now, there's an amazing offer from Soda for you and your partner. You join, and your partner joins for free.
So why gain 20 pounds just to lose it in the new year? Go to Soda Weight Loss today and begin today.
That's sodaweightloss.com, SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At BMW of Pleasant Grove, we believe that driving should be more than just a commute. It should be an experience. Feel the perfect fusion of performance, technology, and luxury with our stunning lineup of new and certified pre-owned BMWs. From the exhilarating drive of a 3 or 5 Series to the spacious elegance of an X7, experience a transparent and effortless car buying experience. Visit us at bmwofpg.com. BMW of Pleasant Grove. The ultimate driving machine is closer than you think.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
At Bank of America, we asked our people, how do you take ownership of your career?
I'm able to grow my way by putting the priorities that I have for my career first.
I thrive on being a leader who's behind the team, not in front of the team.
Every few years, I'm being re-energized because I get to do something different and learn something new.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. I'm Mara Carabello with Holly Richardson. I'm filling in today, and I, during the break, was trying to make a choice about whether I could pull off singing the Utah State song. I'm an alum. I'm an Aggie, and I have made the good sense decision to not attempt to sing anything for you. But I was heralding in that Utah State has appointed a new president, and it's someone who many of us are familiar with. So this is President Brad Mortensen. One of the reasons we can call him president right away is he's currently the president of Weber State University.
Yeah.
Has been there for several years. So we want to take this chance to talk to him about what he has in store for Utah State and maybe reminisce a little bit about how hard it must be to leave Weber. So President Mortensen, thanks for joining us today.
Mara, thank you. It's great to be on with you and Holly and to talk about this change in my life.
Great. So first, I'm going to start by looking back. You have had a great run at Weber. I know you were there before you were president. Tell us, let's give a little hype to Weber State before we talk about your new adventure.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've been at Weber State for 21 years, over 21 years now total, and president for almost 7. It's just been such a great community, and Weber State is passionate about their students and the community they serve, and I will still argue doesn't get enough credit for the great work that happens there in Ogden and Davis County and in northern Utah. But it's been the honor of my life to work with the great folks there, and it is very bittersweet to think about leaving. But I'm at the same time, I'm excited about going back to my alma mater.
So I'll just say I have seen Weber State do some really innovative things, especially in the last few years. Can you just highlight a couple of the things that you're really excited about having helped implement?
Yeah, two of those have been really focused on helping students to be able to better access higher education. We've launched the first of the public schools in the state to launch 3-year bachelor's degrees. We've created a new lower tuition rate for students who are working on their associate's degrees, working closely with the tech colleges so students can transfer in more. But at the same time, we have such a valuable partnership with Hill Air Force Base and the aerospace and defense sector in northern Utah. If you drive along I-15 right off exit 335, you'll notice the Mars Center that we do in partnership with 47G and Hill Air Force Base and the aerospace and defense companies there, and are doing some really cool research to help our nation, to help folks defend our nation, and that's really valuable, as well as providing economic opportunities.
So as we said, now you're headed a little further north. You're going to a Division I school, our land-grant university, holding down a ton of research. It's a great, if you haven't been to Logan 1, Logan is beautiful, but Utah State is known, in my mind, for its amazing college life. Part of it is that it's a destination place. Kids go and they stay there. It's not a commuter school. What drew you to considering going to Utah State? What are you excited about as you start your journey as president there?
Well, it's just been such a flashback, Mara, for me, since being announced last Thursday. And right before the announcement, I was standing in the hallway of the Taggart Student Center where I used to wait in line to get into the computer lab to print off my papers at the last minute. And, and I'm a first-generation college student myself, and to be there with my family and my parents who encouraged me to go to college, I thought I knew what surreal meant, but what happened last Thursday, I still pinch myself. Did Thursday really happen? Am I really going to be the next president at Utah State? It's beyond anything I imagined. And so just seeing it from that lens of someone who was a student there and thinking about, okay, what are we doing now to help the students today, who a lot of them come for that college life atmosphere. I was at the basketball game last night at the Spectrum and just seeing how excited the herd was to cheer on the Aggies in their first home basketball game. It's a special place, like you say, and I'm so excited and humbled to be a part of it.
So I'll reveal my lack of knowledge at Utah State.
All right.
We'll forgive you, Holly.
I know. I have degrees from 4 universities in Utah, but Utah State's not one of them. I'm sorry. But I know about Aggie ice cream.
Okay.
And I know about something about kissing to become a true Aggie, something like that.
Yep.
Right? Okay. What do you have? I think you start your tenure there on Monday. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I'll start on November 10th officially.
So what do you have planned for your first 30 days?
Well, one thing, and I don't think it's a secret for people who know me, I'm an unabashed advocate for student success. And so really getting out and being able to listen to the students, understand what their needs and concerns are right off the bat. There are a lot of great things happening at Utah State, and the students there are really thriving and doing well, but we want to take that to the next level and really make sure that students who go to school, whether it's at Logan or one of the statewide campuses, have that opportunity to find their passion and tap into potential in themselves they didn't know they had. So I want to start on that right away, and then Weber State is not a Research One land-grant institution like USU, and I have so much to find out about the work that's happening there. My goal is to really go and listen and learn and then chart a path forward so that Research One mission really comes to pass and benefiting the whole state of Utah. That's part of being a land-grant school is every person who lives in Utah should benefit from the work that's happening at Utah State, whether they have a direct affiliation with the school or not. And we're going to make sure that we live up to that responsibility.
So, President, you have experienced this a little at Weber State, and I will tell you, I currently live in a house that has mostly University of Utah grads. So I appreciate my Ute family. But I think Weber and Utah State have always struggled a little grabbing attention from just sort of every day. What are your strategies in making sure that as students, continuing students, PhD students, but also undergraduates, how do you expose them to what Utah State has to offer?
Mara, just like yourself, right? There are so many Aggies doing amazing things across the state, and I have been overwhelmed, quite honestly, by the response of people who are reaching out. And, it's not a secret that there's been a lot of leadership turnover at USU over the last number of years. Someone told me, you're going to be my fourth president in 2 years, and the math's not quite right on that, but it's not far off. And so I really think there's this desire amongst Aggie Nation to rally together and take a greater level of pride in the university. And to me, that's the first step, is being able to unite the Aggie family and demonstrate all of the great things that are happening, and let the work speak for itself, and not just, we can talk the talk, but to show that the Aggies are walking the walk out there and having a tremendous impact on the state from the governor on down. So I'm really excited to work across the alumni base, and there's so many companies and others who are really have ties to Logan and to Utah State that we want to capitalize on that.
One last quick question. What happens now at Weber State as you move on Monday?
Yes. So the Board of Higher Education will be appointing an interim president, hopefully this week. That's the goal. And there needs to be a continuity of leadership there. But then they will start a search process just like the one that USU completed. And that is really run by the State Board of Higher Education in collaboration with our Weber State Board of Trustees. And I know there have been a lot of conversations happening there over the last week.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. That was Brad Mortensen, the president of Weber State until Monday, when he will be the president of Utah State. So the Utah redistricting fight is back in court again. We'll talk about the latest when we come back. So stay with us on KSL News Radio. You can stream us on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros.
11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott, KSL's top story this hour. And it is breaking news. A Utah judge has just ordered more prison time for a man convicted of raping 2 women before he allegedly faked his own death and fled to Scotland to avoid prosecution. Nicholas Rossi has added another sentence of 5 years to life in prison to one he already received last month in Salt Lake County. He's being ordered to serve those sentences consecutively, meaning he won't be eligible for parole for at least 10 years. He's currently being held at the Central Utah Correction Facility on that first sentence. Rossi says he plans to file an appeal. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Secretary of Transportation now says that airspace in parts of the U.S. may have to close if the government shutdown continues.
If you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos, you will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic control.
That's Secretary Sean Duffy. Today is day 35 of the government shutdown, tied for the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 276 points, the S&P is down 75 points. And coming up, partly cloudy skies. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time 11:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
This holiday season, won't you help us by bringing joy to a young child? It begins with the Children's Center Utah's Hope and Healing online fundraiser. Now through Thursday, your donations will support essentials for therapeutic work, including tools, play materials, books, books and art supplies so children can better express emotions and heal. Your contributions will be vital. Local foundations and individuals are matching donations so that every gift will have maximum impact. It's 90 hours of giving to raise $90,000, which will provide 90 children with 4 sessions of family therapy. You can even make your gift in honor or in memory of a loved one or family member. Plus, the giving doesn't end when the 90 hours are over. The Children's Center Utah welcomes donations of winter clothing, diapers, and formula to support basic needs for families who struggle to afford essentials during these holiday months. Visit childrenscenterutah.org. Help a family this holiday season. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Great workout, huh? Hey, do you want to grab some lunch? I'd love to, but I'm doing one of those detoxes, so I'm only allowed to drink this green stuff all day. Actually, I'm doing a detox too, but I don't have to drink that. Wait, what? What detox are you on? It's called Active Liver, and it's a natural tablet with herbs that support my liver and help me detox daily, all year long. No special diets, no prescription required, no starvation, and no green stuff. I'm feeling amazing, sleeping better, and have so much more energy. And my digestion's never been better. Active Liver, huh? I'm gonna pick some up right now, on our way to lunch.
We ask a lot of our liver, so give it the support it deserves with an easy daily detox from Active Liver. Made with natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke, Active Liver helps cleanse and protect your liver so you feel less bloated and more energized. Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. When your liver is happy, your body is happy. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
Hello, car donation hotline.
Hi, I'd like to donate a car to the Utah Kidney Foundation. Are you in Utah?
Awesome. Let's get some info and we'll send you a tow truck.
But I want my car donation to benefit my neighbor in Farmington who needs a transplant. Are you in Utah?
That's a no. I'm in SoCal, but you're still donating to charity.
What charity?
Does it matter?
Yes, I want my donation to stay in Utah.
Righteous dude. You need to call Tow Cars in Utah. Locals only, am I right?
Oh, yeah. I remember tow cars with a K like kidney. It's on a billboard somewhere. TOWKARS.org. That's it. Towcars.org.
If you'd like your vehicle donation to help Utah kidney patients in the Beehive State, please use the web address on their billboard, towcars.org, to donate your old car or truck. That's TOWK like kidney, ARS. Towcars.org.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a couple of problems out there. One is in West Valley City. This is a newer accident, southbound I-215's West Belt. It's prior to 3500 South, but all vehicles are out of traffic on the right shoulder. And then crews are still on the scene of this crash in Draper. This is going to be on southbound I-15 prior to the Bangerter Highway exit. Again, vehicles out of traffic on the shoulder. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We could see highs up to 70 degrees today, 72 tomorrow. A storm moves in Thursday morning that will bring temperatures down to the 50s. It will stay chilly through the weekend. Right now, 70 and partly cloudy. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com, we're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So while we are here, attorneys are arguing in court today about which congressional map Utah should use in the 2026 election, and they're coming up right against the deadline, as tight as they can get.
Yeah, so the lieutenant governor needs a decision and needs maps by Monday, November 10th. But as Holly said, 2 plaintiffs are sitting in front of the judge, Gibson, today. She needs to decide if either of them are making a case that the other map that the other one was using was too politically charged, which is the base of both of their arguments. They're both saying that they have violated our statute about what we can draw from and how political we can draw from the data that we're using to draw these maps. They're both making slightly different cases, but that's what's in front of us today.
Right.
We were talking about this timeline. So what's interesting about redistricting is that it's a highly political process, but it's coming against a rather straightforward calendar that is, I need to produce a ballot that people can vote on. So these are not soft deadlines.
Yeah.
These are hard deadlines in order for the state of Utah to be prepared for us to go vote during the 2026 elections.
And what's interesting is it doesn't, like, if you're maybe an average voter, maybe, I mean, even like me, it's like, well, why do you need a year?
Yeah.
And the reason, there's multiple reasons. So when you change congressional districts, you also change precincts. You change which precinct, like, so when we get to like the caucus system in the spring, but also candidates file in January.
Right.
And that is right around the corner. So county clerks need to know, like, am I in CD4 or am I in CD3? And who's going to be able to file here? And of course, in Utah, you don't actually have to live in the congressional district.
Right.
You do for the state level. But yeah, it's interesting. And so we have the clock is ticking, and we have until the judge has until Monday. I mean, the lieutenant governor, her original date was November 1st, and at the request of the court, extended it a little bit to November 10th, which is Monday. There's a lot of stuff happening on Monday, November 10th.
That's right. And this judge has 3 maps. There's a question about whether and how she should be making this decision. She's been very careful and actually lengthy about her rulings because we are deciding not only the maps, but we're navigating 2 or 3 different sections of our law. One is this ballot initiative. One is something that the legislature did, and then the other is the election laws in which govern the timeline. So this is a complex thing. What we do know for sure is that she'll have to decide something this week.
Yeah, and also, I'll just say that there's a Republican group that is trying to do a citizens initiative and a referendum to overturn Proposition 4 and to throw out the map that hasn't even been officially adopted. So that's ongoing as well.
And they have a deadline on November 15th on one of them.
They changed from indirect to direct, and so they have until April, I think.
Yeah, they do. They have until February 15th, I think. So, but they still have their indirect will have to fail, which they will because they're no longer working on it.
Right. Okay.
And then February 15th. They have another deadline they have to reach. All of this is going on pretty much about the same topic.
Yeah.
And, there's another topic. Holly and I are talking about all things real-time political right now.
Right now.
And we're heavy politics.
We are, because that's who we are. So this is interesting. This happened while we were on the show. And President Trump posted that SNAP benefits won't be paid until the shutdown ends. So even though he received court orders from 2 different judges that they needed to use the contingency fund to fund SNAP benefits at least for November, he posted on Truth Social this morning and said, SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, he said, will only be given when the radical left Democrats open up government.
So many of us were relieved when the courts said, no, you actually have to use these rainy day funds to come through with these. And they cited lengthy legal arguments that required. I was one of those relieved because I felt like the courts were taking politics out of supporting those who are getting benefits for food. And we've spent today talking about several situations who families are in crisis. So I was relieved. I was disappointed then that President Trump is bringing politics back in, because what he's saying is until Congress does anything, he's sort of reblaming the Democrats in Congress for not doing anything. And he is citing that in his press briefing, which is going on right now. His spokeswoman is citing that as the reason that he will not release these SNAP funds.
But, they were court ordered. And yesterday, the administration, not President Trump himself, but members of the administration said, yeah, okay, we'll work on that process. And it was an undersecretary for the U.S. Department of Agriculture who said, we will release those funds, but sometimes it takes a while for everything to trickle down. Yeah, it's going to be partial. They said it's only half. but it's better than nothing. But now the president is saying, well, I'm not releasing them. So I would anticipate another court ruling in that one.
And here's the bummer. So we say, well, let's say he is forced to, this could be months from now. So those families who needs SNAP support to put food on the table won't have relief.
Well, and here is another one. So this is news. It was breaking news from the Washington Post. Let's see, like an hour and a half ago, maybe, that the Trump administration is sending notifications to federal staff suggesting that only those who were working during the government shutdown will be paid. That means anybody who was furloughed and put on basically on unpaid leave, at least for the time being, that they won't be paid when the shutdown ends.
Now this blew my mind, and I hope we all go bonker doodles. This should not require you to be left or right leaning. That because Congress has failed to do their one statutory charge, which is to pass a bill in September, and I'm still going to use the term September because we have no expectation now that they'll do this, but because they failed and because they have chosen politics over policy on both sides, the fact that an American worker who is ready to do their job, and in fact a public servant who has chosen public sector over private sector to do their job, would somehow be harmed by the Trump administration and the Congress for them failing to do their job blows my mind. So I hope there's equal opportunity, disappointment, and outrage on all political sides if that in fact becomes true.
So the message that they sent was once an appropriation or continuing resolution is enacted, accepted employees, so the ones that they're considered essential, right, are entitled to receive payment. It leaves out those furloughed workers. And that, I mean, I can't even imagine the sense of betrayal, right, that might be. It's like, you know, not only am I not allowing you to work, but now I'm not going to pay you. And, you know, too bad, so sad is what it feels like.
Yeah, unconscionable. I can't imagine. I expect all members of our congressional delegation to speak out strongly and say this is not okay with them, and they have an expectation as the people who control the purse strings to some degree.
They're supposed to.
I hope our entire delegation is strong and clear that if you are a federal employee who has been doing what is asked of you, you will get paid.
In Utah alone, there's some 40,000 federal employees, right? So this is not a small thing. And we will keep tabs on that. So, Maura, do you like Oreos?
I don't.
Neither does Greg Skordas.
But they're iconic, right? I mean, you of course, take them apart, dunk them. Who hasn't enjoyed an Oreo?
Exactly. So they have been trying to capture different market share, and they have come up with a specialty set of Oreos. They might have gone too far. So pumpkin pie, I might get behind, but turkey and gravy or turkey and stuffing,
wow.
I'm not sure. We're going to talk about the new Thanksgiving dinner Oreos, and you can text us your favorite Oreo flavor at 57500 and let us know if there's a unique flavor you actually like. We'll be right back.
As the temperature sinks a little lower and the wind blows a little harder, next thing you know, the winter cold is going to be seeping in through your old drafty windows. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products for custom-crafted, state-of-the-art windows that'll seal up your house and cut your heating bill. Get on their schedule before winter, and not only do you get factory direct pricing far below what the big-name companies charged, but Advanced will knock an extra $2,500 off your quote. They'll create beautiful double-pane windows with insulated frames, any style, any color, and the security features to keep your family safe. You'll get a lifetime warranty from a local company in business here for 39 years. Financing? 60 months, 0%. Or even buy now, pay later. So make the call. Seal up the house for winter with $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/fax. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
This is Derek Miller, speaking on business. Founded in 2017, Kiln creates vibrant co-working spaces with private offices, shared work areas, and event venues, helping teams across the Western U.S. connect, collaborate, and grow together. CEO and co-founder Arian Lewis joins us with more.
So the world of work has shifted. Flexibility, creativity, and connection, these are the difference makers for businesses. And at Kiln, we have curated an incredible network of communities throughout Utah. Spaces not just designed for productivity, but really to inspire your team. So you can go from St. George to Provo to Lehigh to Park City. We're elevating the quality of life while people are working. And right here in Salt Lake City, we have a beautiful flagship location. It's more than just an office. We have over 70 companies there, from enterprise companies to entrepreneurs, startups, creators. It's really a centerpiece of the city's innovation story. And this October, we opened Kiln Holiday in the old Cottonwood Mall. It's really setting a new standard for co-working flexible office. It's beautiful, and it's designed for teams of anywhere from 1 to 100. So you can be an enterprise company, you could be a startup, a family office, a law firm. We want to welcome you to Kiln, so come check it out. See it for yourself. Book a tour at kiln.com.
Kiln is helping Utah by fostering a stronger, more connected business community. Their support of collaboration, innovation, and entrepreneurship is empowering local leaders, strengthening economic growth, and cultivating opportunities that positively shape the state's future. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
We have some breaking news. KSL News Radio's Claire Scott joins us now.
Yeah, we just learned that a gas leak in Lehigh is forcing evacuations at Traverse Mountain Elementary School and surrounding areas. The city says students are being relocated to Eagle Summit Park to be reunited with their parents. Anyone in businesses or homes within a quarter mile of the school are also being asked to evacuate immediately. Reporting live, Claire Scott, KSL News Radio.
Thank you for that, Claire. Okay, Halloween is over. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. And so is Christmas, by the way. And I'm joined in studio with Caitlin Johnston, our great producer, to talk about Thanksgiving cravings.
Love to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat.
So that's
So
Adam
good.
Sandler, of course. And I do love turkey, but I don't think I love it in the form of an Oreo.
Yeah, I've never been eating my turkey dinner and thought, this should be a cookie.
I know. So there's an Oreo commercial, I guess from the 80s. This is funny.
Oh, who's that kid with the Oreo cookie?
licking up the creamy middle like she did when she was little. It's hard to hide the kid inside when you're crunching Oreo.
So I remember that song, right? And I've got an 11-year-old, and she does not like the outside. She only likes the inside. So I get double stuff, and she eats the inside.
Okay, random thing. That just made me think of one of my friends. This is a crime, in my opinion. I watched them eat Oreos once, and they scraped the inside off and threw it away.
I know, that's
they only
sad.
like the cookie. I was like, I was watching and I was like, this is criminal. But yeah, I don't know. I was looking into these Thanksgiving dinner Oreos just because this was just a lighter topic that we thought, it's these are the types of topics that really divide us.
That's right.
Pineapple on pizza, flavors of Oreos. But it was honestly putting me in a bad mood thinking about eating a turkey and stuffing Oreo. I'm just gonna list off the flavors of this Thanksgiving dinner theme: turkey and stuffing, or turkey and gravy. The Oreo website said turkey and stuffing, so I think it's that. Sweet potato, questionable. Cream corn, questionable. Apple caramel pie,
Probably okay.
Maybe. Pumpkin pie, maybe. Cranberry sauce, also questionable for me. I don't know how everybody else feels about that one, though.
So they're also covered in fudge. So
yeah, they're a different type of cookie.
So we do have a couple of texters that weighed in on Oreos. One said, yuck, burnt chocolate and sweetened shortening. No, thank you. And another one said, I love the new Java Crisp Oreo slightly crunchy coffee beans and cream. Okay.
That one sounded good to me. I was looking at Oreo flavors because I know they've done this before. I think Coca-Cola was a flavor.
Ew.
Never tried it. I will say I've never tried a lot of these, but I'm just coming in with my own emotional opinion about it. There was the only one that is different that I've really tried, the golden one, the vanilla one, or the mint. Like I haven't really branched out, and I do have a lot of thoughts about this. I think Oreo, I don't know why they do this, but we're talking about it. So number one, good marketing.
Right.
Number two, stop. Because I think it's just, I don't know. I just don't think that it's necessary to do this. But one, I do think that the only successful company that's really, branched out with these different flavors is Dr. Pepper. I think that they actually do a good job at this.
Gotten some good ones.
Yes, like the coconut and I can't remember if it's coconut and cream or something like that. I really like that one. There's strawberries and cream.
I think their blackberry one is great also.
I haven't tried all of them. They're the only company that I just think that some of these are unnecessary in my opinion.
So in May, they teamed up with Selena Gomez, if you remember those. In fact, I still see them in stores, I think. So she loved horchata. So what they did was have chocolate and cinnamon flavored cream on top of a sweetened condensed milk cream flavor, and then 2 cinnamon chocolate flavored wafers. So they were okay. I didn't think they were fantastic, but they also brought back a blueberry pie flavored cookie. That was the first time since 2017 they brought those back. It was graham crackers with blueberry in the middle. Again, I think we talked about this when they were coming out with this. They were having a Reese's Oreo cup and an Oreo Reese's cookie where it was supposed to be mashing up Oreos and Reese's. And we had a texter on Halloween say they got some and tried them and didn't like them, so they were handing them out for trick-or-treaters.
I will say that I actually did try that because I saw them when I was in line at Walmart. And I was like, I'm going to do it.
And?
They were okay. Like it was a good combo. It's like the Oreo, like a cookies and cream chocolate on top, and then it's got like Reese's in the middle. Yeah. It was okay. Also kind of like meh, in my opinion. I'd rather just enjoy the
regular Oreos. We do have a couple other texts. Toffee Oreos are great as well, and then Lady Gaga Chromatica Oreos. I have no idea what that is.
I know what
Thanks, Alexandria.
It's a Gaga album, but I've never tried those either. But this it comes in a tin. This Thanksgiving dinner tin. You have to order it online. It's been available since the 28th. I think I'm going off of memory on that because I read it 30 minutes ago. But it's $20 for 12 in a tin, which I'm like, I'm not paying $20 for this.
So it reminds me of some of the challenges. It's like you're going to pay a bunch of money because this is special, right? Whether it's like the hot chip challenge. That was dumb. Don't do that one. But another texter said they have tried caramel apples or the apple caramel and loved them, and blueberry. And another one reminds us that M&Ms have lots of flavors now too, which they do actually.
That is true. That is true. And I will say, you can buy like a $15 one for just like the pumpkin pie, but you only get like 6. So
it's crazy.
They're just special ones. But what I will say is I said that at the beginning, it's good marketing. We're talking about it, and I bet that we will see TikTokers and stuff. I'm trying the Thanksgiving dinner Oreo reaction videos, or I just gave people
here's
ideas.
the turkey one. Yep.
But yeah, I think there's a method. But one thing, as I was researching just weird Oreo flavors and turkey and
That's
gravy,
funny.
there was apparently an old turkey and gravy soda by Jones. I don't know. I've never tried it. I think it's older, but that one I just don't. Yeah, that's also a no for me.
I don't know. I had a brother one time who had his jaw wired shut, and so he had everything pureed for a little while, and he ended up just dumping everything in, including the meat and the potatoes and everything, and drinking it with a straw. I think that's just gross.
I feel sorry for that.
Okay, we do have some fun facts of the day, and because it's election day and has been election day multiple times, we are going to talk about a few of those. So in 2008, well, let's go to 1980 actually. No, let's go to 1924. Nellie T. Ross was elected governor of Wyoming. She was the first female governor in the nation. Nellie Ross, 1924. In 1980, Ronald Reagan won his first term on November 4th. In 2008, Barack Obama was elected as America's first black president. And
that's the only one on this list. Well, there's one more that I can remember, but that I actually remember because I was 14, 15 when that happened. So
you were paying attention.
Wasn't
to
paying
that.
too closely to politics, but I do remember that being a pivotal day.
Yeah. And on this day in 2014, Tim Scott became the first black senator from the South since Reconstruction. I have a couple of other ones that are less related to election. And I do have to say, well, we have to add Dick Cheney passed away on November 4th on an election day. So that fits, I guess.
Today.
Yeah. In 2022, or not 2022, my bad, 1922, the entrance to King Tut's tomb was discovered. So I remember I must have been like 12. They had a huge display in Chicago, and we were out there visiting my grandparents in Indiana, and it was like, I think maybe one of the first U.S. tours, or maybe not, but it was this massive display about King Tut. And that was just the entrance of that tomb. And what's so fascinating to me is they are still continuing to find new tombs.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that still an option to go see?
Yeah, I think so.
Because this is just something you just always
At least
hear
in a
about
museum.
the King Tut's
Yeah.
this tomb, and it is something that it's very fascinating to me because it's just very weird and interesting, I guess.
It is interesting, and they have recently, I know they recently announced that they found a tomb of a queen, a pharaoh who was, or at least a woman. And I will just say this, let's see, 1862, American inventor Richard Gatling patented the hand-cranked Gatling machine gun. So that has been around now for 180 years-ish. Yeah. Okay, so we want to remind all of our listeners, today is Election Day. Get out and vote. Drop off your ballot. You have until 8 p.m. You can be in line to vote in person. You can drop it off at a drop box until 8 p.m. And we will find out some results tonight, but mostly those will trickle in over the next few days. And that's it for Inside Sources today. Midday with Maria Chaleos is up next with all of today's news, including Election Day. So stay with us on KSL News Radio. Thanks for listening.